Hey guys, how you guys are doing? It's a Thursday. It's Thursday, which means tomorrow's Friday, which means that I get time with my husband because my poor baby. I love to learn stuff, guys. Like, YouTube is the best thing ever, 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 ever. YouTube is such an awesome, it's so awesome. Right now I'm learning about white-faced scops, S-C-O-P-S owls. And I didn't know that the little horn-looking ear pieces on the top of an owl's head aren't their ears. I didn't know that those are more like eyebrows. So like when they're really alert, they can actually have them pointing almost all the way up. If they're really relaxed, they kind of sit like that. I didn't know that owls, their eyes don't have any, it's because they're so big and their skull is so small. I had no idea that they didn't have muscles behind their eyes, and that's why they can look. That's why they have to look and, like, you know, kind of do that if they want to see anything. I also didn't know that they can't see anything close to their face. Like, they can't see their own feet. They can't see when you put your hand out. Like, they can't, but they see really well far apart. I also didn't know that their ears are teeny tiny holes that are up underneath their feathers. So like one is like up here and they're asymmetrical. So one's up here and one is like, or they're not asymmetrical. No, they're asymmetrical. And one is lower, so they can hear stuff up top and below. The craziest shit ever. I'm like, what? I like to learn stuff. I do. I like to learn stuff. And you can't tell really if they're male or female because they kind of look the same. Unless you're giving them a like feather test. You can test their feathers to see what they are. Unless they lay eggs, you'll never know because they're not like parrots, you know, where like the male parrot will be a different color and the female parrot will be a different color, so you can't really tell with owls. Like, I thought that was the coolest shit ever. Yeah, so whatever, Nirvana. You guys didn't come here to listen to me talk about owls, did you? But you learned anyway. So I'm pretty sure I have an allergy to white wine. Look at my ears. Look at that. Look at my ears, Matthew.
Okay.
Shit. And I barely had like maybe an eighth of a cup before it started. And now I'm on fire. Like, I'm absolutely like burning up. Look at that. Gastric bypass, y'all. And I don't know if anybody else suffers with it, but I'd love to know. Jesus. My thing cut off. Sorry about that. So, something that I've talked about before, but I need to bring up again, is that drinking after weight loss surgery. The reason I'm bringing this up right now is, number one, I had somebody ask me about it the other day, but number two, I had what's called alcohol flush yesterday. I had about an eighth of a cup of white wine, Moscato actually, technically, which is a sweet wine, but it wasn't like, anytime I've ever had Moscato. Now, the reason why I say Moscato is because I do not like non-sugary drinks. Sugar addict. So, surprise, surprise, not so much. Really? Surprise? No? That's right. So, with alcohol, for me, is a very rare want. I rarely ever am like, oh, well, you know, I guess I could. I guess, yeah. And my husband doesn't really drink either, but we do have alcohol in the house. It's just that's not my first thing. I'm like, I should go have a drink. I should go eat everything in my kitchen. Yeah. So that the difference between the two is real, y'all. You will see a lot of kind of alcoholism in more, to me, in the VSG community than you do the gastric bypass community. But all of this comes with the price. All of it does. Like all of this food addiction, eating stuff we're not supposed to. When I say supposed to, I mean, not bariatric friendly, because they're like, you're going to have to eat this way for your entire life, which is horse shit, but whatever. We ain't going to get into that. We ain't got to go there today. But as far as like alcohol goes, I've always been like, I can live with, and I can just pretty much live without it. Socially, I'll have a drink, and even then it's usually me having about a half of a whatever, and then Matthew gets to finish it because I can't. Once I start feeling derp, I stop. Which doesn't take much. That kind of shows you. So alcohol is not recommended for bariatric surgery patients, but there are several reasons for it. The first reason is that we get drunk very, very fast because, number one, we have a teeny tiny tummy, or we have a sleeve, or whatever. So we get drunk really quick. But because we don't have that full stomach to digest the alcohol, it actually stays more present in your system, though we don't feel the effects of it. You can actually give yourself alcohol poisoning because you don't feel drunk, so it's okay to have another, right? Like, you want to feel that buzz, you want to feel good, so another glass of wine leads to another glass of wine, leads to another glass of wine, leads to an entire bottle of wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't process the way it did before we had surgery, where we could have 5 drinks, we could have 10 drinks. We have people who drink 15 beers in a night, and they got drunk, but they're fine the next day. Alcoholics. Excuse me, I had something right here stuck, I think. But I see this problem a lot more with the gastric sleeve patients than I do with the gastric bypass patients and the duodenal switch patients. And I think, number one, it's because there are becoming less and less of bypass patients. They're becoming more and more vertical sleeve patients because it's easier and it's faster and whatever. But alcoholism is a real issue. And also, you're drinking your calories. So just because you can't get in that, 6-ounce steak with the potato and the salad, and you could only have a couple pieces of this, a couple nibbles of that, and you're full, well, they switch to drinking because they can get in a lot more liquid than they can, the food-wise. So they switch their addiction over to drinking because they get that same feeling of happiness and that same buzz that I get with. I don't really get a buzz with food, but I do get the happiness part. I was going to say I don't get a buzz with food, but I do with no, that's not what I meant. What I meant is that I get the happiness portion of it when I eat things that are not on my bariatric diet. Because that shit ain't on my bariatric diet, girl. I thought this was kind of important. I'll show the flushing that I had yesterday. It's pretty damn common. Like, I see a lot. Like, I asked and people said yes, they have the same issue. I think that it's important to realize, how much alcohol you're consuming per week. Like, 1, 2, 3, it's pushing it. Are you having more than 3 drinks a week? It's pushing it. Drinking your calories, guys. Like, people wonder why they're not losing weight, and people are wondering why, they're like, but I'm not eating that much. I'm not eating a ton of food. Like, I'm sticking to, what I'm mostly protein and some vegetables and stuff. but you also drink an entire bottle of wine per night. So you're also, you know, what was I going to tell you guys? Hold on. Yeah. For example, wine contains twice the amount of calories per ounce than regular soda does. Yeah. And then, like I told you, the absorption of alcohol changes with the gastric bypass and the sleeve because the enzyme in the stomach, which usually begins to digest alcohol, is absent or completely or greatly reduced, which that's an easier way for me to put it. Alcohol may be absorbed more quickly into the body after gastric bypass or sleeve. The absorbed alcohol will be more potent, which means you get drunker faster, with less than, you know, a normal person would. The studies have demonstrated that obesity surgery patients reach a higher alcohol level and maintain the higher levels for longer periods than others. In some patients, alcohol use can increase and lead to alcohol dependency. Just saying is all. So I'm not saying you have to avoid it, like, but I'd be weary. I'd really take a look at that. You know, I've been battling my food forever. I've been battling, trying to get my food under control, and I work on it every week. Matter of fact, I work on it every day. I've had a shake for breakfast, and even though my body's telling me I'm hungry, I'm not going in that kitchen until Matthew comes home for lunch, and he won't be home for lunch for another 3 hours. So, you know, I have to constantly be diligent. I have to constantly be like, no, Nirvana, no. And sometimes I win and sometimes I lose. But tomorrow's another day. Weight loss surgery is not easy in any way, shape, or form. Addiction is not easy in any way, shape, or form. It really isn't. Addiction is very hard. Drug addictions, pill addictions, alcohol addictions, food addictions, all of this is hard, and it's hard to get over because once you're dependent on something, it's very hard to let it go. I watched my mother-in-law, like, go through alcoholism, you know, like, I watched her. I mean, she would drink 2 or 3 bottles, you know, a night. Well, usually like 2 bottles a night. And that's if she wasn't grabbing, you know, alcohol, you know, vodka and stuff. She's been 2 years clean. She's been 2 years clean. She saw what, you know, it eventually was doing to her, and I commend her for it. You know, it's a hell of a lot easier to get clean off of drugs and alcohol than it is for food, because we still have to eat, and we're still surrounded by it. Like, you don't have to walk into a bar. You don't have to go over to somebody's house if they're drinking. You don't have to sit next to somebody shooting up. You don't have to, you know, there's less exposure for that unless you put yourself in that situation than with food, because we are always being invited out to dinner. We are always being invited out to parties. We are always being, you know, we have to go to the grocery store and be bombarded by food, by oh, look at this over here, oh, that looks good, oh yeah, I haven't had that in a long time, oh man, I'm just gonna pick this up and put it, oh, you know, this is for my husband, it's for my husband. Girl, no, it ain't for my husband, it's for my fat ass, because I bought it and I know that okay, that's a lie. I will buy something for him, but damn near every single solitary time, unless it's gross and I don't want it, then I bought it for me. Now don't lie. Don't lie. Like, I bought it for me, and he might get a piece of it, but I guarantee you the rest is mine. I don't lie. I don't sugarcoat anything, because I'd probably eat that too. Just saying is all. So I hope this video is informative and answers your questions about alcoholism and how much fun it is. If you have any other kind of topics, guys, that you really want me to broach, that either I can lead you to the video that I made on it, or I will make a brand new video reiterating things, just like this one with the alcohol, because I was like, well, I can actually show you guys what happens to me, and had I drank that entire thing of Moscato, I think I would have gotten really sick. And that was just like, you know, not even an eighth of that glass. Wah, wah, wah. I love you, beautiful, gorgeous, amazing faces, and I do hope everyone's having a wonderful start to your week, or end of your week. Where am I? And I'll talk at you hopefully tomorrow. Bye.